So moving on to what's called the important exception. It is a style declaration that overrides any other declaration. Now, the important exception isn't part of specificity, but it interacts directly with it. Now, as an example, let's move on here. So we've established that inline styling has the highest specificity. But now if we move into our green class, and after the value, the property value, we add an exclamation mark and type in important. What's going to happen now is that this important styling of green color font will override all the other font colors. And we can confirm that by refreshing. And now you can see that although we've got the inline styling that has higher specificity, because we've made this important declaration here in the green class, this actually trumps all the other styling. It overrides all the other styling. Okay? So this can also be applied to this purple ID here. Save, go back to our web page and refresh. So you can see it's applied that purple instead of the pink color that we have in the inline style. All right. Now, important is sort of bad practice and should be avoided. The reason being it can cause issues when you're trying to debug, as it breaks the sort of the expected nature or behavior of CSS. So we know that we expect CSS to be read from top to bottom, right? And in terms of specificity, so types, classes, ID, there's an expected behavior. However, applying this important declaration overrides all that. An example being if you had a styling that had an important declaration on it somewhere within your CSS document, right? And you can have lots and lots of CSS documents. You might not be able to identify why you're expecting this color that you apply to this class to be red, but it's not turning red, right? So you might have an important declaration somewhere lost within your CSS, which is causing that issue. As best practice, try and prioritize a way to achieve your desired styling using specificity. All right, and lastly for this video, you can duplicate simple selectors to increase specificity, right? So there might be a situation where you want a certain styling to have more specificity, but you don't have any more selectors to use. You can duplicate the selector, the simple selector, to increase that specificity. So as an example, a class called myClass, you can actually type it out again, and that will increase its specificity. So as an example, here, let's remove this important. So you can append the class again. So note there's no space, and save. So now as you can see, instead of a number 1 in the middle there, it now has a specificity of 2. And if I remove it, it has specificity of 1. All right. So now do keep in mind this increases the specificity. However, let's remove this inline styling. However, if we go back to the web page and refresh, the ID is still of higher specificity than the class.